By the time April 2025 came around, Brittany Renner had converted to Islam, and she was with none other than Kevin Gates. Now, this was interesting because Kevin Gates was still married to Dria Gates. Right. And Dria Gates, for all intents and purposes, has always been a supportive wife. She's never disrespected Kevin Gates like, Cardi B does Offset. She's always been there, even if she didn't agree on something. But instead, Kevin Gates was flaunting around Brittany Renner as if Dria Gates didn't exist. But then that didn't last long either.
We got married April 6th and divorced May 28th.
Brittany Renner had left and the relationship was dissolved. And this is interesting because Brittany Renner never went back to Kevin Gates. She's doing her own thing now. And this was odd because Kevin Gates seemingly had two wives at the same time. But he has said before he only wanted how many wives?
Being Muslim, you can have multiple wives, right?
Say we can have 4, but 1 is preferred.
Okay, so if you can have...
I don't want multiple wives, I just want 1.
Again, Kevin Gates seems to be a narcissistic person, and indeed, that's what he is. He'll say anything to get what he wants, even if he hurts people at the same time.
I want to make one thing very clear. I would never with a married man. This man told me he's legally separated, so that's that. I simply came onto this platform to express how I feel because I have every right to feel the way that I do. And to any other women that are going through the same thing, it's okay to stand up for yourself. Dealing with men that manipulate, gaslight, lie, all of that. I'm sick of it all. I'm sick of this man leading me on this whole time.
But despite Kevin Gates and all his problems, he still had a woman who was still showing him a great deal of respect. Even though Kevin Gates was disrespecting Dria publicly, she still went to Baller Alert and she was very, very excited to talk about him and even mentioned some key things about how they met.
He was picking up his sister from my brother's football game and I was going to see my brother play football.
And what happened?
He hemmed me up.
I know he said something to you though. What did he say? What was his first words? What's happening?
What's happening?
It was something like that. He was in front of me walking. I'm behind him. He kept turning around looking at me, but he said that I was looking at him. Of course I'm looking at you if you're walking in front of me, right? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so then he hemmed me up at my car. We talked for 2-3 hours.
Oh, wow.
Damn.
Your first interaction, you talked for 2.
First interaction.
When I look at Dria Gates, I see so much black femininity. And this is interesting because so many black men complain about, the way that sisters act, they're not feminine, they're this and that. But when you see Dria Gates, you don't see that. Because Dria Gates is damn near perfect.
You guys fight? No, not really. Okay, Kevin has this thing. He's like, a person would be really pissed off with you. And I was like, why? He was like, because you don't fight back. He's like, because you don't argue. I really don't argue with him. I'm not about to argue with you.
Right.
Yeah.
That's right. She doesn't even argue, which in my honest opinion is insane. You have a lady that doesn't argue and is still your wife, but you're still treating her like trash? Well, that's exactly what happened with Mr. Kevin Gates. You see, Kevin was so busy trying to impress all the other women out there that he forgot to impress his wife and his kids. And despite embarrassing his wife wherever he went, Dria Gates eventually had enough of it, and she then filed for divorce. But that's not all.
Dria Gates, the ex to Kevin Gates, who has the kids with him, wants $70,000 a month and spousal support and child support. And this is after their relationship kind of fell apart. We've seen Kevin Gates, date Brittany Renner publicly, and people were like, is he in one of those relationships where you could date multiple people? I guess maybe not. But the crazy thing is now, $70,000, even Brittany Renner was only getting $6,000 or $5,000 or something like that from PJ Washington, the person that she had the kid with before she even got with Kevin Gates. That is 10 times more and seems completely unreasonable for a rapper. She's saying, Kevin Gates is neglecting responsibilities, is buying all these luxurious things.
Not only does Dria Gates claim that Kevin Gates put her in $7 million of debt because he didn't make any payments on their farm, he was too busy buying cars, being irresponsible, and not being accountable. That's right, Kevin Gates is not making a whole lot of money being a rapper, but he's spending all of the money on Brittany Renner and the rest of these chicks, while at the same time neglecting to take care of his responsibilities. And now other people are upset.
Drika, I hope she get everything that she is requesting plus more. See, that's what them type of men do. You want to rebrand yourself and wear suits everywhere you go, even on stage performing gangsta music. You want to sit in podcasts talking about breathing exercises and healing and this and that when you leave the woman who bears your children, your wife, for other women.
Again, Kevin Gates been doing this thing, probably Dria Gates, for a long time. He is a master manipulator. But the real situation is Drika probably would have broke up with him and left him, but the $70,000 a month would have never happened if, he just didn't throw it in her face. And now Kevin Gates doesn't want to spend the money. He's saying that, he's never married Dria Gates and all of that. I mean, just completely being a buster. But what I want to say to a lot of the brothers, and I know that a lot of times we can get on here and clown women and say that, you can't find a good one out there. You can't find this or that. But in certain pockets, I believe, that you can. When it came to Kevin and Dria Gates, she did everything that a wife could possibly do. She had his kids. He was definitely making mistakes out in the public. She never went out in the public and disrespected the man. She changed religions for the man. It wasn't just Brittany Renner converting to Islam, extreme version of Islam. Dria Gates did what, any woman was supposed to do. She followed her husband down the wrong path, of course, because she ended up divorcing him, but she never clowned the man, even though he was doing whatever he was doing, embarrassing her kids. Now her kids can't even get any support. And still to this day, she's never went on a podcast. She's never tried to get clout off of Kevin. She still tried to be amicable as possible, even though they're not going to be together. And Kevin Gates is still looking at himself. He's saying that, why should she get that money? We not even really seriously married. Well, then if you're not really seriously married, bro, how does she file for divorce? Again, y'all not making sense. And when it comes to a lot of the good black men, I hear this all the time, right? A lot of brothers will say, how come good black men never get good women like Dria Gates, but the Pookies always get a good woman like Dria Gates, okay? And I get what a lot of brothers is going with that, and it's so easy to say that all the good black women like a bad black man. And let me just say this. Yes, you could have good women in relationships with poor guys, but here's how you got to think about it. You got to think about that because you are a good man and you're improving and you're solid, you're going to find that kind of woman because that's how you are, all right? Yes, it's very unfortunate that a woman like Dria Gates, who I feel is not perfect like anybody else, but is a good woman, eventually got into a bad situation with a man or with a bad man. But at the same time, that doesn't mean that you can't get it, all right? I honestly believe that as a black man, if you are a good person, you're adding value to people, you really want to be in a relationship with a woman and you really want to add value to her in her life, and if you're looking for the right qualities, people like you, it's plenty of Dria Gates out there, because for whatever you are as a man is what you'll get.
He ain't lying.
If you're a person that is a user, you're a person that's a liar, you're a person that's a cheat, I mean, what do you expect you're going to get? You're going to get all of those things.
Damn right.
Lying, dustiness, and cheating. That's what you're going to get. But if you're a brother and you're serious, you want to add value to people around the world, you want to be honest, you want to be transparent, it's a lot of black people out there that are like that. I just kind of believe the same thing too, that, well, Pookie gonna get all the good women out there, and I don't never get the good ones. Well, that's my problem, right? I don't even worry about that anymore. The fact that Dria Gates was able to stay with Kevin Gates for so long lets me know that the right available lady, if I come across her, would stay with me under the right circumstances. And there's plenty of black people out there that'll give you that value. You got plenty of black women, plenty of black business opportunities. Like, the black community is dope, you know what I'm saying? Even around the world, you will find good people anywhere. And just because there are a lot of bad people everywhere, that don't always have to be your experience. It just just doesn't. It doesn't have to be your experience. Negativity doesn't always have to be your experience. So we got to also understand that. I was talking to my homeboy, you know, he lives in the Carolinas, and he was just talking about like, if he could find a woman that was his type in America, he wouldn't be coming to Africa and clapping it up. I mean, don't get me wrong, it is some super thick women here in Africa, and it tends to be a lot easier for the brothers to talk to women here. But those women are everywhere. You got just as much talent pool for women in America than you have anywhere else. But it depends on us. It depends on who we are as individuals, right? It depends on what we're willing to offer. It depends on how we present ourselves, and it depends on what we really want. Are we really serious? Are we putting ourselves in a situation where we can get good people? And ultimately, what happened with Brittany Renner, who didn't have any respect for his wife, okay, and she was supposed to be a Muslim, she cost this guy a lot of money. If Brittany Renner would have just said, no, listen, you're married, you're still legally married, you have a wife, nah, I can't do it. You know, she didn't say that. And that was the straw that broke the camel's back. And again, I want to say this too. A lot of times as men, we can basically take somebody who's in our corner and then turn that person into somebody that hates us. And we got to be mindful and understand that people don't have to love us. We do not deserve for somebody to basically care about us. People care about you because they want to. They don't owe you anything. All right. Contrary to popular belief, nobody has to give you their time. Contrary to popular belief, nobody got to give you your love. Contrary to popular belief, nobody owes your ass anything. And once we understand that as people, as individuals, as men, we will have an easier time in life. But once we continue to stick by that narrative that somebody owes us something, you know, people got to stay down and we get to treat anybody any kind of way. No. We can take people who really, really love us and make them thorns in our side and make them hate us based on how we treat them. You know, if we're being rude to people and mean to people that love us, we got to understand and recognize that and apologize. Listen, yo, you know, what happened is wrong. You know, I appreciate you for what you do for me. I want to improve and get better. And then go about it like that. So guys, what do you think? It's your boy Oshay Jackson back at it again with another episode of The Celebrity Junk. I appreciate you for all that you do. Subscribe, hit the bell. We're out.